Hi everyone, welcome to my short tutorial on Visual Basic, and this is to do with files and copying data from one application to another using Visual Basic. So the first thing is you need to have a file to copy, and if you go into, if I just show you my folder here, I have a file called services which contains data. So this is in the same folder as my my other files. That's first of all, that's the important thing for this tutorial to work. So if I double click on services just to show you what's in it, it's just an Excel file and it contains some data, and we're going to use that as our copying file, and that's going to be our example. Okay, so first of all I'm going to close that, and in Excel then I'm going to create a new Excel blank workbook, and I'm going to save it somewhere on my desktop. Okay, and importantly, as I go to File, Save As, I'm going to save it as a click on Browse then, and I'm going to save it as a macro enabled workbook. Okay, and this is important because if you don't, it won't save your macros. Okay, so in here I'm going to put in data copier is the name of the file I'm going to give it, and I'm going to put it on my desktop and save that. And okay, so that's a macro enabled workbook. Now, to get this program to work, we need to go into the Visual Basic developer. So clicking on the developer ribbon. If you haven't got the developer ribbon enabled, it's a right click, customize the ribbon, and then make sure you've checked the developer option here, okay? And if you have, then that'll display the developer ribbon and all its options. So in here, I go to click on the first icon, Visual Basic, and that takes me to the editor, okay? So I have no modules in my project at the moment. So I'm going to add a module. So in my data copier spreadsheet, I'm going to right click here and I'm going to insert a module. Okay, so the module is where we put our code. And there's my module, and it's module 1. Okay, so what are we trying to do here? We're trying to give the user the opportunity to open the file, and for the moment it's going to have to be in the same directory, but that's we can expand on that in another tutorial. So first of all, I start out by saying sub get data. Okay, and this is my macro, my procedure, and my data is gonna go in here. Secondly, I'm going to turn off the display alerts. Okay, so that's a system application command, application dot, and you can see the prompt coming up, display alerts, and set them equal to false. So display alerts are things like, do you want to copy this? Do you want to paste this? I just turn them off for this particular program. Now we have to create some variables as well. So in here, I'm going to create a file path as string. Okay, so that's going to be the file path. And I'm also going to create a string variable for the file name as well. Okay, so we want to copy data from services to our file. Okay, so that's what we want to be able to do, and so we need to set the destination of the workbook first of all. So I'm going to create a workbook object called destination. Okay, and then I'm going to set the destination equal to this workbook. All right, so that just sets it. Um, so that's the current workbook that we have open, and that is data copier. Okay, so then the next thing we need to do is make sure we change the directory. So we need to use the change directory command, and then we are going to, but if you want to use the file name, let's do both ways so you can see. So the services data is in this folder here. So to use the pathway, right click on the file, choose properties, and in the location, copy the location into the clipboard. Okay, and here we can set that file path equal to, and inside the quotes we put the location. Okay, and we also put the full file name in here. So actually no, we don't. We just leave it like that. Okay, so that's the file path done. So we don't really need this command here, but we could use that as well. Right, so the next thing is to get the name of the file. Okay, so we can use an input box for that purpose. So file name, we set it equal to the input box. Input complete file name. Okay, so that's that. And then finally we have a workbook open command. So it's workbooks.open file path and file name. So whatever they inputted into the input box will be opened. Now, let's remove that there. So after that, we need to select the data in the sheet that we've opened. So we're going to be opening the file I showed you called services. So in the first instance, so sheets 1, so the first sheet, and range A1 dot select. Okay. So when that's selected, we can use the current region command. So that selects the whole area adjacent to A1, and that will be, in this case, the entire spreadsheet, all the data in the spreadsheet will get copied. Okay, so then we select that. Okay, and to copy that, we just say selection.copy. So that will have copied, opened up services, and it will go to cell A1, use the current region command, and copy the whole data. Then we want to bring that data back to our destination sheet. So destination workbook, which is this one. So destination activate, and in here we go to sheets 1 and select range A1, and we do a paste special, and paste is equal to XL paste all. Okay, so that's that done. So we're nearly there, and what else do we need to do? We need to just close the workbook. So in here we reselect cell A1. Okay, and workbooks of the inputted file name dot close. Don't want to save the changes, so save changes equal to false. Okay, and then finally we just send a note to the user that the data has been copied. So message box, file name, and data copied. Okay, And we can turn on the alerts again because we're finished. Application.display alerts. And set them back to true. Let's try that again. This prompt isn't working very well for me, and set that equal to true. Okay, so I can save that now. And now I should be able to run my macro. So let's try running it. Okay, so there's an error there somewhere. Let's check why that would be. That should be save changes. Okay, try again. So it's asking for the file name. Services is the file name. And it's copied the data and it's copied it into the destination sheet, which is data copier. Okay, and then it closes the other file, and that's the result there. So I'll run it one more time. Okay, and so input complete file name and services. Okay, so that's the simple little macro for copying data from one file to another, and you can input the file name as well. Okay, so there's the whole code there. Just put it up on the screen for a moment so you can see the whole thing. So display alerts equals to false. Variables, file path, file name, destination as workbook, dimension destination as workbook, set destination equal to this workbook. File path I got from the properties window of the file name. Okay, and then the file name is from the input box. File open file path and file name. In the services file, it selects cell A1, copies the region, the current region from that selection copy, then destination activate, and it pastes into the destination workbook, which is data copier, and then it closes the file name and sends the message to the user saying the data is copied, turns on the alerts. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the little tutorial, and there'll be more to follow. Thanks for watching.